Did you know that one really fun and creative way to showcase our beautiful children's book is by using something called mockups? It's something I've been using for years, and so in this video I'm sharing with you what mockups are, the perfect places and ways we can use them to really show off our beautiful children's books, and the 4 main options we have to create our very own. This is such a fun topic that can really help us make our already beautiful children's book even more appealing, especially for marketing and promotional purposes. So let's jump right in. Hi there, I'm Eevi, an award-winning children's author and ghostwriter over on eevijones.com and the creator of Children's Book University. I create videos specifically for children's authors, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss my weekly videos. Now, what is a mockup? A mockup is a scale or full-size model of a design or device, often used for teaching, demonstration, and promotional purposes. Mockups are used in all sorts of different industries. For example, on t-shirt design websites like customink.com, where the site generates a preview of the shirt that you designed. That preview is a mockup of what your designed shirt would look like in real life. Another great mockup example would be business card and banner personalization sites like vistaprint.com, where we can design our own business card and then see a mockup of it to see what it would look like once it is printed. And then there are really crazy and elaborate mockup examples like car websites, where visitors can build their own virtual car, where they can choose different exterior options like color, as well as interior options like different fabrics of the seats. There are so many different ways to use mockups, including for us authors. Many authors often don't realize that the photos we see of book covers oftentimes aren't photographs of actual books, but are simply mockups instead. For example, these book displays from one of my websites are actually all mockups. I didn't need a camera, and I didn't even have to have any of these hard copies on hand in order to create these images, because they are all mockups. Mockups come in super handy sometimes because instead of having to have an actual model on hand to showcase our new logo for our newly created imprint, for example, a mockup allows us to simply display our design on pre-photographed models like I did here with my Children's Book University design. I really love mockups because they allow us to showcase our books in really creative ways without having to actually photograph anything or without having to set up anything special in order to make the settings our children's books are displayed in look like $1,000,000. But where can we display our children's book mockups? Let's look at the use of mockups specific to us authors next. There are so many fun places where we can showcase our children's book mockup, so here are just a few. The first place for our book mockups is a big and important one, on our website. Using images like this makes the displaying of our books so much more fun. And we can even use mockups to show the inside of our books, like with this example right here. And if you don't have an author website yet and you would like to create one quickly and easily, I created a separate video on that, and I'll make sure to add the link for you in the description below. The second place for our children's book mockups is on our Amazon sales page. Because of Amazon's most recent changes, independently published authors are now allowed to add more images and more information about our books to our Amazon sales page. This additional information is called A+ content, and I made a separate video on where and how we can set this up, including great examples of things we can add to our sales page to make it even more appealing to potential buyers. I'll go ahead and add the link to my separate A+ content video for you below in the description as well. I received such wonderful feedback and so many questions after I shared that video, especially about the mock-up images I created for my sales pages over on Amazon. The third place for our children's book mockups is on promotional items. Those could include things like tablecloths, flyers, banners, and posters. So by adding mock-up images to these promotional items, instead of just a flat image of our book cover, we don't just make our displays more fun and interesting to look at, but we also make our promotional items look more professional. The fourth way we can use our book mockups is directly inside our book. I personally always love to add a page at the end of my books that showcases a few of my other books that I have written. And to do so, I like to use mock-up images of my covers because they look more interesting and less flat than just a regular image of a cover. Because we have a more three-dimensional feel here because of those shadow elements. So this right here is an example of one of my other works by this author pages. And other fun book mockup examples are to showcase our book as an ebook and to stage our book with a fun background. So for the making of these examples, cookies and mini marshmallows were not required. All I needed was a regular image of my book cover to create these. Now that we have looked at a number of different uses, how can we create our own children's book mockups? Now there are multiple ways we can go about creating our own children's book mockups. Some are free and some are not. The ones I have used before are these options right here. One, we can create our own mockups by using software like Photoshop. Here we could either create those mockups from scratch or we download already created templates. A great place to download free mockup templates is CoverVault. So if you are familiar with Photoshop and have access to a tool like that, then this is a great way to create your own mockups. Two, we can have our mockups created on sites like Fiverr.com, where we can hire someone to create a mockup for us. This works especially great if you really just want one single image or if you don't mind paying per created mockup. Option 3 would be to use an online mockup generator tool. These are great because they allow us to edit our mockup images online, meaning we don't have to download anything. We simply upload our images and it creates the mockups for us. There are many different online mockup generator tools available and some even have some free options. The only tricky part with this is to find one that also offers square mockup options. I personally really like MediaModifier.com, for example. The only problem is that their free option does not include square covers, which is the book cover I use most often. So even though I use them for many other things, I can't use them for my book mockups. Which brings me to option 4, which is Canva. Canva is amazing, which is why I keep using it for all sorts of things, including the creation of my book mockups. In fact, I use Canva for this so much that I ended up creating my very own book mockup templates because there were such limited options available to us children's authors. These templates sort of combine the benefits of the 3 previously mentioned options. It already contains pre-created mockup templates for us, where we can easily add our own images without having to subscribe to a software and without having to learn how to use software like Photoshop. And we also don't have to download anything onto our computers. These book mockup templates would allow us to simply drag our own images into those templates. The last option is of course my favorite one, and is also something I was so excited to share with my Children's Book University students because I personally really do use mockup images all the time. These templates are of course specifically for us children's authors, so it includes the 3 different sizes that we as children's authors use the most. 1, the square format for square books. 2, the 8.5 by 11 format for bigger books, as well as low content books like coloring books that a lot of my readers are creating. And 3, the chapter book format for books like middle grade chapter books. Each format comes with different mockup template options that allow us to really show off our beautiful children's book, whether that's the front cover, the front and the back of the book, the inside where we can see the left and the right page, or a combination of those elements. And it also includes templates that we can use specifically for our A+ content over on Amazon. That way we can simply drag and drop our own images into those templates and we are done. And because they're so easy to use, I added them to my website. So if you would like to check them out, I went ahead and added the link to those book mockup templates in the description below. That way we can create as many templates as we'd like or need, and we can do so quickly and easily. Creating mockups for our children's books is such a fun and creative way to showcase our beautiful work. These images are something we can use for so many different things, including promotional and marketing purposes, which of course includes creating fun mockup images we can then share on social media. I hope you found this video really helpful and that these examples inspired you to give mockups a try and to perhaps even create your very own. And if you do, feel free to reach out and share them with me. I'd love to see your creative masterpieces. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't yet. As you already know, it really encourages me to keep making free videos for you just like this one. Here's to your very own mockups.